Hi guys, this is the Blackjack Gamer signing on, and I'm going to be doing another basketball talk, but today I'm going to be reviewing the Eastern Conference. Basically, this is their current standings right now, and I'm just going to be reviewing what I think of these standings, and then what I want to say about these standings. Sorry, this was from the last episode. But who I think is going to be on the next standings. So basically, who I think is going to be on the standings towards the end of the season, or at the end of the season. So number one right now is the Miami Heat. They're overall a pretty good team. Offense is solid, defense is solid. The only thing they need right now is rebounds. Offensive rebounds is basically what they need. But one thing I would love to focus on is their home record, 19-3. Their home record last year was pretty amazing, actually. I'm pretty sure it was number one in the whole NBA. The only person in the Eastern Conference that has a better home record is Indiana, and that's only because they played one more home game than Miami did. So right now they're half a game over the Knicks, which I don't understand why Miami's a solid team. Honestly, I think they're a lot better than New York, but yeah, but I think Miami's gonna stay in this number one spot towards the end of the season. New York is the number two spot. That's a pretty good placing. I think that New York and Indiana are going to battle it out sooner or later. New York being an offensive-minded team, Indiana defensive-minded team. However, Paul George is the oddball in this. If these two teams, sorry, excuse me, if these two teams go after each other, I think honestly it's gonna come down to obviously Melo versus Paul George. Paul George being the shooting guard for Indiana, Melo small forward, but those two players can shoot, they can drive, assist, rebound. Two solid players going all around. Paul George is a younger player. He just made his first All-Star appearance, but I think that he's gonna be a great player. So on to Chicago. Ooh, Chicago, I'm surprised that they're even over 500 right now. Being 10 games over 500, I think is outrageous because they don't have D Rose. Right now, their main player would honestly be Luol Deng or even Joakim Noah. But after they do get Derrick Rose, which I think is going to be a little bit after All-Star break, I'm pretty sure they're going to head up to maybe the 2 or 3 spot. But they're going to either knock off Indiana or the Knicks. Brooklyn, I thought they were going to be one of the best teams in the whole entire league because Darren Williams, Chris Humphries, Brook Lopez, Joe Johnson, they were a solid team. I don't know what happened. Just that they fired their coach Avery Bradley and now they have PJ Carlesimo. But Brooklyn, they have solid players, not to mention Jared Wallace, their amazing shooting guard or small forward, sorry. But Darren Williams has not been playing like Darren Williams. He's been playing basically. He was so much better last year, and even when he was on a New Jersey net. So on to Atlanta. Atlanta's a solid team, honestly. Even though they lost Joe Johnson, they picked up Kyle Korver. He was originally there, then he went to the Bulls and then came back. But Atlanta's a solid team. Milwaukee, ooh, I love watching these guys play because I was scared that Monte Ellis and Brandon Jennings were going to be terrible together, like they could not play together, but the second Brandon Jennings steps off the field, Monte Ellis takes over. It's nothing like that. Boston, I was hoping to see them at the number 2 or number 3 spot. But right now, since they lost Rajon Rondo and Jared Sullinger as well, I think that they're not going to be in the playoff race. Philadelphia, maybe even Detroit have a better shot to get in the playoff race over Boston. So, or even Toronto, right? The Raptors are a good team, picked up Rudy Gay and everything. The next on Philadelphia, they're an okay team. They're not a great team, honestly. They lost Iguodala, so they're alright. But Danilo, no, that's the Nuggets. Sorry, but Philadelphia is a good team. They're not amazing. I don't think they have a shot to be a playoff contender. When Drew Holiday gets a little bit older, when they pick up some role players, stars, I think they'll be a better team. But right now, starting off, they're a good team. Detroit, Pistons, they're an okay team. There's really nothing much to be said about Detroit. They're an average team. Or an average low team, I guess. I don't know. They don't have a shot this year, next year. A few years, they'll definitely have a shot, though. Toronto, the Raptors, they picked up Rudy Gay, and I think that next year, if Rudy Gay stays, they're going to be amazing. Sorry about that. They're going to be amazing, even a playoff contender, I would like to see. Orlando, they just need to find some great players, some new players right now. Primarily a shooting team, small team, playing small ball. They need a couple big men. um, from the loss of Dwight Howard. But I would like to see them become a good team. They just need a couple more big men. Cleveland, I don't know why they're 20 games under 500. I mean, honestly, they have a pretty good lineup. And Kyrie Irving, he's such a beast. He's getting the LeBron talks right now from all the Cleveland fans, which I think is garbage. But he's a great guard, honestly. He can set people up. His shot's beautiful. In maybe 2 or 3 years, I can see this team becoming a good playoff team, but no, not nearly a contender yet. Cleveland does need more big men. That's pretty much it. Next on to the Wizards. The Wizards and the Bobcats, they're both trash teams. The Charlotte Bobcats, the Wizards, they have no hope. I'm skipping them. Charlotte, I think that they're gonna be a good team, just because they have Ramon Sessions and Kemba Walker and a couple other great role players. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is on that team too. So I think in a few years, when they mature a little bit, get more big men, they can move up. Maybe a playoff contender. I don't want to go to the stretch and say that yet. So, okay, time for me to make my little list of who I think is going to be in the spots that they're going to be at the end of the year. So first, my number one spot's going to be Miami, just because they are probably the most solid team, if not second or third most solid team in the NBA. Everyone saw what they did to the Oklahoma City Thunder last year. So I think that even though they don't have as many wins as they should have in the regular season, in the postseason they go off and turn into the real Miami team that they should be. My number two spot would be the Knicks. Just because Melo is an amazing player. They have J.R. Smith coming off the bench. Tyson Chandler is playing out of his mind. He's crazy. Defensive player of the year last year, which I think was a fluke, but actually seeing him play, he should have got that defensive player of the year. He's a great player. Next would be Chi-Town, just because I'm from there. And I'm not a big fan of the Bulls, but Derrick Rose, after he comes back, I think this team is going to shoot up. Derrick Rose put on 10 pounds of muscle weight. He worked on his jump shot. And their bench is outrageous, not to mention Lou Deng. They're still going to have other great players, Taj Gibson too. So that's that. Next would be Pacers. Pacers, because Paul George is an amazing player. They're a solid team. Home record is amazing. Have the best defense in the league. Roy Hibbert's a primarily fault for that. Next, I would say this Brooklyn team. I think the Nets are going to become a great team towards the end of the year, because right now they found themselves. Darren Williams is slowly playing like Darren Williams. Darren Williams needs to learn how to be more of a role player, not to take that huge spot and take all the glory. And the person I think that should take lead is Brook Lopez, because Brook Lopez is a big man. He can drive. He has a short shot. He's a pretty good player overall. Next, sixth would be Hawks, because they're primarily a three-point shooting team now. Even though they lost Joe Johnson, they picked up Kyle Korver. They have amazing defense. And then Josh Smith. Let's not forget about him, people. Next would be Bucks, just because they have two amazing guards coming off of the bench, or one starting, one coming off the bench. Overall, they're a great team. Okay, number 8 would be, I'm gonna stick with Boston, actually, because even though they did lose Rajon Rondo, Paul Pierce needs to step up, and I think that Paul Pierce is the person to do that, and he's an amazing player. Not to mention KG. KG is one of those players that will never let you down. He's always a great player. He can be a role player or a star player. And then Jason Terry, the guy that they picked up trying to replace Ray Allen, who went to the Miami Heat. But Jason Terry's doing amazing. He's the Jet, obviously. So I think he's going to hit his shots. But for this Boston team to be an amazing team, they need to put Jason Terry as a starter to start off the game with threes and the game with threes, to be an overall great player. Then next, I'm just gonna do the top 10 teams in my opinion. Next would be Sixers. Next would be probably the Raptors, just because Rudy Gay is turning out to be a beast in Toronto. It doesn't matter if he can't fit in there, but they're a great team. overall. They have some great role players too. But if he does step it up to the next, take it up to the next notch, he's going to be a great player. Then next, I would go Pistons. Just because Brandon Knight and Andre Drummond, two amazing players. Andre Drummond was possibly the biggest risk, but the biggest reward out of the draft. And then Brandon Knight's obviously Brandon Knight. He's an amazing player. So thanks guys for watching this. If you want more basketball reviews, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And this is the Blackjack Gamer signing out. See you next time.